Hello to everyone, this is Vishal, and today we will continue our session of navigation part 2. So, as we have done last time on the part 1, that is simple navigations, how we can go with that means small things we have done, we achieve on this. Now, today we'll see the navigation, and I will convert my one of my old app into the JetPack, and we'll see that how the navigation work in that, how the session we work in that. So a lot of things be there, and we continue the more sessions on this. But today we have a one step. We move one step further. That is, we will work with the multiple screens, and then we'll go for the inside the screens also. Means all navigations how it can work in the app. So, but before we move ahead, so we can let's quickly recap what we have done last time presentation. Okay, so let's see. We have to start that. Okay, so let start quickly what we have done last time. We have done a simple navigation, as in a jetpack means we are navigate one screen to other screen, one screen to other screens. That means whatever we are doing in the navigations, we need a multiple composables, means multiple functions of the screens. So there are two things most important. We have a nav host, we have a nav controller. So both required for the navigation. That's very simple. Okay, so what we have done, we have a two screens. One is home page and other is detail page. So we navigate from home to detail. uh, you can watch my previous session. So under that, what we required, we required two strings. One is the home string and other is the detail strings. So that's the complete things required for that nav host, nav controller, navigation and path names. So that's the way you can move it. So let's see how can do. Okay, so uh, we need some simple steps, as we have done many things last time. So what stuffs required for that? So first thing is that you have to create a any function, that is a separate function in which we will do the navigation. Means in the future, if it required, we can increase or remove the navigations as per the app. Okay, and in which we can use our host and navigation controller both. And number two, we need to create screens for the navigations like in composables. And if there is a multiple screens, so better you can go with sealed classes. Otherwise, if 2 3 screens needed, you can go with a simple, but depend on I mean, it's good because of app is with a multiple screen always, so you can use the sealed class. It's a good practice. And what we needed nav controller and nav host to control all the navigation. That means in which we can uh, host all the composable screens. So that's the way you can design your navigation for the jetpack. Okay, that's very simple way. So here, that means we can host all the composable screens with their path. Path will be under the sealed classes. We have a function, many things with here. Okay. Okay, so let's see with us screens as we have done. So we have a home screen, we have a detail screen. So first thing, what is the basic thing required as for to control nav host or to navigate it from home to detail? So the first and foremost thing that is required and the most important, that is a name host. That means it hosts all the screens be here. And how you can do it, you just make it the name host and then pass your nav controller inside that, and that nav controller and whatever be the start destination. And with that start destination, there are many ways to call the name host, but here what we have done, that I describe you. So under that, the start destination be home, that is a path. And here we can create a composables. That means that composable we call your screens. Okay, so that means if it is composable home, so you can call your home screen. And if you want to pass it the controller, you can pass it, and there are many ways, means you can call it with the functions, so I will describe you today. So for that composables, for the second screen, that is the detail, and you can call the detail screens. So that's the way you can work with simple composables be here. Okay, so once this be ready, you can call both the screens, means you can make screens when your nav host be ready. Okay, so that means here we can make a composables for the home screen and for the detail screen. And if you want to pass the controllers, you can pass it. If you want to make it functionable, you can make it. So there are many approaches we can do with this. So here your uh, function of that composable function for the home screen, you can pass the controller, what as we have done last time, and here that's the way you can do it, whatever you want under that screen. The same you can do with the detail screen also. Once we approaches to our home screen and we pass the nav controller here, so that means under that we have a button. On the button click, we can call that nav controller, and where we want to navigate, you can navigate it. And what other approach is that you can pass the function without passing the nav controller, that also we can achieve it. So I will describe how can do that today. But here we have what we have done last time. We have just passed the nav controller dot navigate, and then we go to the detail screens. That's simple. Okay, and once this detail screens we reach on the detail screens, it means uh, we have a detail screen, and then we can control it using the same as we have done with the home screen, means detail screens, nav controller. And if you want to go on with the detail screens with the button or whatever, you can pass it pop up back on that, means if you want to back the previous screen, so we can do it, or if you want to move it the next screen also, so you can. So nav controller can control all over the screens wherever you want to pass your navigations, and that all controls be under the nav host. That's the conclusion. So here we have a nav controller, we can say that pop back stack. Okay, so that is we can move to the previous screen, that is the most important. And there are other approaches also, will describe you one by one, but the basic things we have learnt. Okay, this is very basic things that everybody know about the composable with your navigations. Okay, so now what we are doing in these sessions, we have a multiple screens. So let's take a very simple example with UIs. Also we can see that in this navigation. So first we have a multiple screens, and we take a screens be like welcome screen, and under that we have a one next button I'm using. On that click, also I will describe you how you can pass a function. So here on the next click, first we have to check the session, means user session, login or not. So here we have a two screens, one we will create a two screens be here. Okay, so here we have a home screen, and we have a top bar, bottom bar, that will describe you on the next session navigations. And we have a login screen. So here we have a sign in button. In sign in button, that means here once we check the session uh, in welcome screen on next button, if yes, so we can navigate it with the home, and if no, so we navigate it into a login page. So on login sign in, what we have to do, That means we have to save our session or create our session. Okay, so once this session be create and save here, that means we have to check it on the welcome screen, the same session, or once it's done, that means we have to move it into the home page. So whenever the user click on the next time on the welcome next, it automatically be open the home page, just like as we had done with our activities. Like we have a different activities in our simple apps. So now those activities be like your composables, and here we have to control under the one activity all the composables, just passing it, and it's very simple. Okay, so that's very simple steps. So let's see the example, practical example, one by one. Okay, okay, so let's start in Android Studio here, and these dependencies required here. And if you see that here we have a compose bomb, so sometimes its version be old, it's not compatible with the navigation compose. So that's because of, as I seen in this Stack Overflow, so many has an issues with this. So what you have to do, you first make your compose bomb with 2024.02 and 00. That means update your compose bomb, and then you can use your navigations compose 2.7.0 if it's required. Okay, so that's the way you can start uh, your navigation with the core 1.8.0. Okay, as per your Gradle build be ready. So just see that what steps we follow today. So first we need to create app navigation function, that means to control our navigations, and then we have to create a screen. We have a welcome screen, and we have a home screen as we discussed, and we have a login screen. Three screens we required for now. And once it's done, that means because of multiple screens will be required in the future, because of we will create the top bottom bars, also navigations, many navigations we will add in the future. Okay, so here we have a session class for to like login check in, and here we have a sealed class. As per multiple screens will be, we can add them. Okay, so these all stuffs be required to create today, and we'll continue these parts with the more screens than models, and lot of things we will see with the navigation in this small app integration. Okay, so here we can add a multiple screens in navigation. So we'll create sealed class first. So let's start this. Okay, okay, so first we have to create a sealed class, and I'm giving the name to that sealed class is a screen. Okay, and under that sealed class we have to pass the parameter root. So I'm making a root as a string, so that means according to that root we have to navigate our screens. Okay, so that is, you can create an object home. Let me close this. Okay, so we have to create home, and or you can use it home screen or whatever be you want, that you can choose that. So I'm using the home, and I'm giving that home as a parameter for the root. Okay, so it's on you which kind of parameter you can pass it. You can give your names accordingly. That's simple. Okay, so let me copy for the other screens. And one I'm making login and giving the name to the login, and the other I'm making a welcome. Okay, so that's the screen that's the screen paths we are using here. So that sealed class we can call it in our main activity. So for the main activity, as I told you, that the first thing is, foremost thing is, we have to create the navigation function. Now I'm making that composable, and I'm giving the name to that fun app navigate or you navigation bar. Okay, whatever you name, you can put it. Okay, so that's the way you can start your project here. Okay, now once you create your app navigation bar function composable, so here the two things as I told you on the whiteboard, that is we needed two things that's important. One is a name controller and number two is name host. That means we have to control and all the screens by the controller. That means we have to pass that, and the other we have a name host to host all the navigation screens. So here I am giving the remember nav controller. That means it can remember uh, throughout the activity. So this is our nav controller. We have first use it, and now we have to create the nav host. So for nav host we have multiples here, but you have to choose for uh, start destination one. Okay, so here I am making a nav controller. As in a nav controller I have to pass the same, the above one, and now start destination I am giving the name. See, if you using without shield, so you can pass it like that, welcome. Okay, and yeah, okay, this is a build function. Okay, but if you are if you have a sealed class, then we'll use the sealed class there. So here we have to call the welcome screen inside that is our simple nav host. Okay, so now we have created the sealed class, so we have to change this path, be like a screen dot welcome dot root. So that's the way you can use it your simple nav host. Then we have to call our welcome screen, we have to create the welcome screen. Okay, that's a very basic thing. First thing you have to put in your mind for this, it's easy. So once this nav host be ready for the first screen, so as we have done the last time, we have passed the nav controller, if you remember on my previous session. So if you want to check that, you can um, check that session, previous session. So here what we needed, we have to go with the methods. Okay, so now I'm using the methods. We have to use the function, that means on button click we have to call on that. You can use it a simple controller also, but here whatever you want you can choose, but I'm comfortable with this for this screens. So means you have to know that about many types of that to call that nav controllers. Okay, so here, so first what I'm doing, I'm just making the welcome screen, and under that I'm making a method, and you give the any name to this, because of as we discussed in the whiteboard, we need a next button, or under that on next button we have to call this so means we have to call the new screens. So for the next click I'm using this, and I'm giving the simple method whatever be it is. But here when I make it the composables, okay, because of in the nav host what we are doing, we are always make a composable, then we pass our path. So here I am passing the path. Okay, maybe sorry. Okay, here I'm using the welcome. Okay, because of it is a welcome screen. So what we have to do, you just make, you have to call that welcome screen. So how? You just make a welcome screen, and this is the curly brackets be coming here, but we have to remove this. We have to pass that parameter as in a small bracket we here. Okay, so we do not require this, we just pass it, like this, and we have to create a method. So it automatically be here. It is on next click, and then simple curly brackets we have to call. So that's the way at the start level we have to call this method be here, and welcome screen, and we have to go with our navigation controller. So here we have a navigation controller. I want to navigate which screen. We have a sealed class screen dot home dot route. So here it's a very simple approach with the methods I'm doing. Okay, so here as we discussed that because of we have one more screen that is called the login screen. So for that first we need to check the session here. So means whether the session be there perfectly working or not. So we have to check on the next click button, so then we navigate it. Okay, that's the our purpose. So here I think it's very easy. We just make the welcome screen on next click be here, and the same function be there. Okay, so whenever you want to create, you just make your screen welcome screen, you pass the method, and the same method you can call it in under the composable name host. So easy it is. Okay, so as we have to create the session, we make a simple Kotlin class for the session. It is very simple as we done with the sessions, login sessions for the Java and the Kotlin. The same I'm using here for the JetPack. Okay, so here I'm just making a context, and I'm using the context here, and for this we need one variable preference or whatever be you can make it. So I'm using the context get shared preferences, simple because of we always need this, and we just make it. This is our login session. Now we can pass the name IDs also, that I will describe you later, but I just make up first. I will make a simple flow on that navigation, nothing else. So here I'm just making the mode private always, and here first we need to create a save because of on the login screen we need to create and save that session. So I'm making the save login, and here I'm making is logged. So we can check that is logged in be there or not. So we just make it with the boolean, if yes, if no. Okay, so save login, okay, okay, let me check. I'm just making it preface. Okay, that's good name. So dot, because of it can sound be like. Okay, so here this is the preference, edit put boolean, and I'm just putting that boolean, and I'm making the name of that boolean be as is log in. Okay, and just use the same variable be here, that is login. That means we can save that login be here and apply. Okay, whenever you do with the sessions, that means you have to apply. Now we have to cross check whether the login or not before save it or then pass the screen. So here we need to check that user be already be login or not. Okay, so here I'm just making the function is logged in boolean return. Okay, so it can return that preferences and here I'm passing the get boolean. The same is logged in. Okay, so false and true, that is, so default we have to send that false. Okay, now if you want to log out, what you have to do, I'm making a one more function, log out. And here I'm just using the preference, edit clear dot apply. That means it can clear whatever with the session on that, so we can log out. So we'll describe and we'll edit it in future according to the API's calls or whatever be, but at this time I'm just making a very basic class for the session manager so you can understand it, and we have to call that session manager in main activity and cross check the things for this. Okay, so once we created the session, now we have to call that session to check that uh, whether we have to go, that means login or the home screen. So here first we call the session, and how we call it, just very simple, you just make a context, and that context we need it as in a local, and means whenever you using the context, we always use this, like, okay, in a JetPack. So this context we in everywhere we can use it in every function like this. Well, session, and here we have a session manager object, and then this is our, remember that class for the session manager. Okay, so that means we can call it and just use it everywhere. So that's the way we can use the session manager here. Simply context we have to pass. Okay, just alt enter and see. Sorry, wait, yeah. Okay, so this is our remember, and everything is fine. We have a session manager, we have a context, we have a name controller, we have a name host. Now we have to check that under the welcome screen. So what we can do here, we have to check session. It's very simple. We have to check that whether the session be there or not. So we have our functions as we created. So session manager is logged in, so it return the boolean which we have just created, and we just pass it if it is logged in, so we directly route to the home. That's easy. Else we have to route that login page. That's simple. Okay, so here first we're talking about the home. So here once we check that the session manager is logged in, so we have a nav controller dot navigate. Now we have to pop up, means whatever be the screen be there, we have to just pop up that screen, and I just want a home screen, so nothing be on the back sides. Okay, so that means previous history, just like as we have done with the activities. Okay, so here we just simply say the pop-up screen welcome route and then inclusive true. That means we can just remove it or pop up it the previous screens. We just directly just open the home page, so that's home page, and when we close it, so it never back to the welcome, it just on stay on the home page. It depends on you what you want on that. Okay, so it's this is the work, and we'll discuss more about the definition on this. Okay, so but here it's very simple. Create the login screen. First we have to create the function for the login screen. So here okay, we create the home screen as well as the login screen both. Okay, So first we go for that uh, login screen here. Okay, okay, so this is login. Simple. But here I just want the same as we have done with the our welcome screen. I'm just passing the function here. So I say that login success. So whenever we do the login success, on that button click, what we said that on the whiteboard, that means we need to save our or to create the session here. Okay, so for the login success I just call that method, and here the same I have followed the composable under the nav host. So whatever be the nav host composables that started from small c. Okay, and that this is our composable screens. Okay, so that composables, that means we have to go for the roots and we manage the screens with there. So here we say that else nav controller dot navigate, and it moved to the login screen. Simple. So that's the path, nothing we are passing here, we just call it the login dot root. Okay, so that means we were what we have checked on above. If there is a session, we have to go to the simply home screen. If it is not, first he has to move the login route and then just login after creating the session, then move to the home screen. Okay, so that's the way. Now I'm making the nav host for the login. Simple. So the first nav host be ready for the welcome screen. Now the second composable I'm making for the first uh, login screen, then will home screen. Okay, so that's so here on simple steps, if composables we have screen dot login dot root, and I'm just calling the simple login screen the same way as we have done. Okay, remove this curly brackets, use the parameter as in a function, it automatically be here that function. You can say that login success and curly brackets, very simple, and then here just check the navigation. So the nav controller dot navigate screen dot home dot root. So when will it happen? On the login success, but how? That is the important. So first we have to save our session, then we have to go for the nav controller. So here we have to save the session be like say session manager save login true, simple boolean. So that means our session be saved. But if you want to save the username IDs, that I will describe you, because of we will add one by one in coming session. So once it's saved, we have to go for the screen, that is our home screen. Is this fine? It's some very easy steps. And here the same thing, we have to pop up the previous screen and then inclusive equal to true, just follow the same as we have done above. Okay, if any issue on the pop-ups we'll see later, but here I'm just using the same as we have done the previous one. Okay, so the previous screens we have to remove it, and then inclusive make it true for now, simple. Okay, so these to be ready, and everything is fine. Now we have to make a composable for our home screen. So for that home screen, it's in simple, I'm not doing anything but that is very typical or complex screen in the future, because of we will use the bottom navigations and top bar also, in which one navigation also be there. Okay, and in the login I will show you that how you can move the multiple methods, that means for your registrations or many things be there. But first I want to clear your funda for the very basic way. Okay, so this is our simple screens, we just doing the sessions and nothing else. It's so easy. Simple home screen, nothing I'm doing with this. I'm just making a very simple welcome screen in this, just we call that welcome, nothing else. I will describe you how we can make a UI changes later, but here I'm just making a very simple box, and yes, and then making a modifier for film max size, and just padding, nothing else. Okay, and then we can use the column modifier, same max size, and then vertical arrangement I'm making it in the center, nothing, simple. I'm just making a box, and then inside we've used column for the text and the button, and on the text I'm just choosing the welcome screen. One spacer, just for a gap, one button. The main thing is button. I just want to show to you that how we can use that function which we are passing as a parameter. So on click, whatever we in curly bracket, you just simply call that function. Okay, so here we have on next click, nothing else, simple. And here if you want to make the button name, you can give the button name also. So that's a very simple welcome screen we have done. Now I'm just to start the work on login screen. That's also be a. So for the login screen, what required? I need two values, one for the email, another is for the password. So that's required for remember. Okay, and that remember should be as in we have to use mutable, and state always be as we have done previously. We need a whatever be the emails and whatever be the password, we need to store it here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so here we have to remember the email. What happened with this import? Okay, we'll import it. Yes, and now we have to make the same for the password. Okay, this to be, and now what we need it, we just required a very simple screen. Okay. So here I am just using the column modifier, and the modifier should be like fill mix size, padding, simple, vertical arrangement, because of I will describe you the UI for the login after that. I'm just making very simple login screen for now. Okay. Okay, so now for the text, say login, the same spacer for the gap. I'm making very easy approaches here, just you have to learn the basics, okay, for the navigations, because of any app be started be like with this. Okay, and these things we have. Now what we need it, mm, outline, it is text, yeah, text field. We have to pass the value email. On value change we need some update for that value, so we passing it email as it. Okay, that's very simple. I'm doing nothing with this, and if you want, mm, a modifier can we use? Okay, let me do with the modifying. Oh, modifier, fill max width, okay, and padding. That means if it is required you can do it, otherwise no need, because of here I'm just making with the max width size for this. So that's the way we can create our simple outline text field. If you want to give the label, means what the name required for this, so you can say the text and whatever be the name, email. Okay, so that means we have to fill, just copy paste. First we give the gap, then we just do the same for the password. Change the variables. Okay, one more spacer. Button, and we have to call the same function which we passing from the name host, that is login success. Simple. So here I'm just making the text. This is sign in. And this is our home. Okay, so we just means we have to just check that that our session be saved or not, so that's the way. And here I'm just copy paste it simply home screen for now, just change the name, nothing else. Okay, this is our home screen. So these basic things be ready, and here we just check that navigation is logged in. Then here we have to go for that login, and we have to save the login. If we save the login, that means it comes to the home screen. Very simple. Okay, we don't need to pass anything in the home screen for now, but we'll do later. Easy. So that's the way we start our build. I will describe you how we can do this now, and we'll run this part. Okay, so let's see in the device what be the result outcome we have. So here we have a welcome screen. When we do the next, so here we have no any session. First we have to create the session in the login page. So first it navigate to the login screen, and here I'm just putting anything here because of we don't have any restrictions. We will apply it later, but now just show to you the navigation. So it comes to the home screen, nothing else. So when you back it, it means the previous screens already be we removed it. Okay, so we pop out it. So now if we go again, here is already the session, so it comes directly to it's navigate directly to the home screen. So easy. So that's the way you can route your sessions here directly to the home screens or via a login screen. So it depends on your whatever you store the sessions on. So we will update all the files one by one, but just we can make a structure of our app. So first we'll work on the UI now.